beauty is a wonderful part of me as well, but I don't feel that I have to display it all for the world.
Is it a function of your hijab when you wear it? It's basically a message that says that I would like you to judge me based on who I am and what I do, and it's not based on, you know, the way I look. And I mean, people might not like that, but it is a fact that men and women are perceived differently.
If I wasn't wearing the veil, for example, to me, a man coming up to me and just chatting me up might be normal, but to me, I might not like that.
I'm interested in the concept of it's to make men behave better toward you. Is that what I'm hearing?
My covering does not exempt a man from his responsibility as a man to behave himself, as you say, to conduct himself in a morally befitting manner. Just because I cover myself doesn't mean I'm doing it to make his job easier.
Let me put to you what Jack Straw actually said. He said communities are bound together partly by informal chance meetings between strangers. People being able to acknowledge each other in the street or being able to pass the time of day together. That's made more difficult if people are wearing a veil. That's just a fact of life.
I don't agree with that at all. I don't feel that just because I cover my face, why is that a barrier for you to treat me as a human being, to relate to me as a human being, as somebody with opinions, with personality, with things that they can bring to the table.
You know, Muslim women who choose to dress this way do that because they feel, you know, come this way, first of all, because they believe that God wants that of them, and they believe that God knows better for them than they know.
Does it state in the Quran you're supposed to wear a hijab? I don't think
it does.
It says exactly
it does.
You have to wear a hijab. I don't think there is a clear statement or standard, but a lot of, I think, philosophers or Islam scholars saying this is exactly what you need to wear. There is no clear understanding on that matter.
I think there is a clear understanding. There's a very clear understanding.
There's literally fair. You'll read all scholars saying the same thing. I disagree.
No, I disagree.
Other scholars would say,
but there is a majority and a minority. But the face can be open. There's nothing wrong with that. The face is not necessary. Do you believe that?
I wasn't wearing it before, and now I am. There are people who do believe that the face is obligatory, but I think that it's their choice in the end.
So, what do you think the message is when you see a veiled woman?
The question, okay, I'm living in Canada, I'm wearing a hijab, I'm covering up my face. Am I going to be somebody who will bring people together, Jews, Christians, Muslims? I don't think so. Am I going to be the one who will be a philosopher, bringing new ideas to the table, actually getting people to get involved in the community? I think you'll create more barriers. It's not you, it's them. It's as in the people around you. They're stereotypes, they're perceived notions. All I'm saying is, as a Muslim, you're a missionary at heart. You're supposed to actually attract people towards you, not repel them.
Well, let me bring this to you, and this is the English translation of the Quran. Tell the faithful women to lower their gaze and guard their private parts and not display their beauty except what is apparent of it, and to extend their scarf to cover their bosom. Are you not being faithful to the Quran?
It doesn't say cover any particular part except for the bosom. So I think it's about the humility of it, and there's no kind of implication of what item do you need to wear. We need to integrate, we need to assimilate, and we need to be able to move from one culture to the other without looking like something out of a different era.
I don't think it creates any barriers. I don't think you have to assimilate in all ways. I think you should assimilate in the basic human ways of goodness and helping others, but you shouldn't have to assimilate in your dress, because what is dress? It's just superficial.
No, it's not. People always perceive you by what you wear. No one, I'm not talking about your communication. For example, if I'm non-Muslim, I will judge you. I will put a label on you, and I'll walk away because
how is that our fault though?
It's not your fault, but I think the world has changed, and as a Muslim, you need to represent Islam as an encompassing thing, not an exclusionary thing. You're excluding people in your world.
Samaya, you want to say something to that? I think you need to give people a little bit more credit. Like, people are really, they're not that stupid. Like, I mean, do you mean the public at large? I mean, just because someone's covered up in a certain way, it doesn't mean that everyone is going to see them as someone who's completely weird. But is there discomfort? Can you feel discomfort from people? who are not Muslim, who don't understand?
If I meet someone who doesn't know anything at all about Islam and has no stereotypes, they're going to be very friendly with me. It's the baggage and it's the stereotypes that make people, defensive and prejudiced and so on. I know people are walking, look at me, don't agree with me. That's totally acceptable.
How do you know?
I know, because I know that the way they look at me.
How do they look at you?
Okay, there are a few people who give dirty looks and stuff like that. I'm used to it. Most people, they're just curious. They don't know, which is fine too. I wish they would come ask me. I'd love to explain it.
Essentially, what Jack Straw was saying, and a lot of people are saying now, is, how can I trust you? How can I get a feel for what you're saying if I can't see the entirety of your face?
Well, let me ask you a question. How do you get a feel for what somebody's saying when you talk to them on the phone? And we use telephones like constantly nowadays. People use the internet.
Do you believe you're equal to a man?
Oh, the thing is that I do believe I'm equal to a man.
Why don't men wear the same kind of equivalent?
Why is that? Why do you think that is, that men are not required? Presumably we can all agree on this, God made all of us, right? He made my face, your face, a man's face. Why would he require a woman to cover some aspect of herself and not a man?
Covering yourself is something that's natural to us. We cover parts of ourselves that we think is not for public consumption. And if people differ on what that modesty is, I think that's totally fine. And honestly, I don't have a problem with it. And the issue of equality and dress, I mean, men also have their own dress code that they can't just walk around wearing whatever they want.
So it's Jack Straw, if you were in his office and he said, would you mind removing the veil so I could talk to you in the presence of another woman, what would you say?
I would say I do mind. Why does it bother you that I have to remove it in front of you? Can't you communicate with me as a normal human being? I don't think that the fact that I'm wearing a veil prevents you from communicating with me as a normal human being in a normal way. And I don't see why you have to get me to do this thing, to take off my veil. Perhaps for you it's something that you feel strongly about, or you want me to do it for your own comfort, your own benefit. But I don't think it really is bothering you. I don't think it is. And it definitely doesn't bother me.
Sonia, your last word, what do you think about the issue of veils and when someone is fully veiled?
I think it's time to question things in life. It's time to think of ourselves not as me, but as a community. Based on our responsibility as Muslims in a Western world, I think we will just be more responsible to actually improve the image of Islam and be more integrated.
Samaya, what do you think?
Frankly, I think it's ridiculous to say that people have a bad image of Islam because of the way people look. Because someone has a long beard or someone's covering her head, or even her face.
And that stereotypical connection may come up in what you're wearing.
Exactly. The fact that there's a stereotype doesn't mean that I have to give up what I believe. If I believe something is right, I'm going to do it. I think people need to accept the fact that people differ. Their opinions are different. They're going to believe different things. They're going to think that, something is better for me, or, another person will disagree. I mean, honestly, I don't see what the big deal is.
My priorities in life are different than somebody else because my priority is spiritual first and foremost. And also, when I cover, I'm perfectly fine with myself. Like I'm not ashamed of myself. I have very high self-esteem, and I'm fine with the way I look. I'm fine with my body, and I just think that if I'm fine with it, then everybody else shouldn't feel badly towards me. I understand your concern, and I'm very, I thank you for your concern. If anybody is concerned, but I'm fine.
I want to thank you all very much for coming in and talking, and I'm sure you're anxious to break the fast today and go eat.
Thank you.
Okay, so first I'm just going to take some quick reactions to that. I know there was a lot that occurred in that video. So honest reactions. Oh wow, okay, a few of them. So let's start in the back. Where's the second mic? Can I get the second mic to...
Oh, I'll just talk really loud. It's fine. Never mind, thank you. I'll still talk really loud. Okay. The woman who was completely covered, except for her eyes, my main thing was that she kept trying to marginalize human interactions to just speaking to each other And to me, there's nothing more human than a smile or a tear, and those are things that she doesn't have anymore. So,
or she does, but she's not sharing it with people outside the house.
Yeah, okay. So I can accept maybe that she's like, I'm on a personal spiritual quest, but I really don't appreciate her acting as if I'm like just defining what humanity is as being purely vocal.
Okay. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being honest in your reaction. Yeah.
I feel like the question of why men don't have their own version of hijab wasn't really addressed. Like, she kind of asked it. I'm sorry. She kind of asked it, but she kind of avoided the question. Okay. So I was just kind of wondering, like from a scholarly perspective, like, does the fact that they don't have their own version make them like more superior than women, or like not necessarily more superior, but like what was that? How do you?
Okay, that's a good question. Can we save it? Because it's actually in the presentation. I just want to get quick reactions. Yeah.
I really feel like the interviewer, because I know I was just reading, there's actually something that says like the woman should lower her gaze, but so should the man, and the man should cover up his honesty, which will probably be in there. But I was just kind of like, I felt more at odds with the woman in the middle, Sonia, only because she was saying that, you know, it's no longer a personal choice. And I mean, it's a personal choice whether you wear a veil or not, or whether you wear a tank top or a t-shirt or something like that. You know, I don't want to minimize what a hijab means, but, you know, I just feel like her saying like, oh, you have to put yourself aside and think of the community. Yes, she has a point that there is a stereotype, but at the same time, it's your life, it's your body, you should be able to do what you want, or clothe it however.
Okay, so basically the idea that just because there's a stereotype doesn't mean that you should have to change what you believe in. Okay, and then can I get you? I know this very easy.
Sure.
And then
I was just commenting. Sonia was saying that she said, Sorry, she like in her perspective. So in her perspective, she was saying that in this day and age, it's in order to, I guess, build relations with the community, that you should conform to what the society thinks and how it sees the individual. But I guess the kind of fallacy that I see in that is, who's to say what society is going to be in like 100 years, 200 years? So where would that put religion then?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, the woman who wasn't covered, how she was saying that as a Muslim person, you're Muslim at heart, and you're supposed to attract other people to your religion, and that wearing the hijab, or maybe not just wearing the hijab, was kind of giving it a bad image. And I didn't agree with it at all, not being Muslim. I never thought of that. And I thought it was, she wasn't, she was disregarding the fact that like other people, like that kind of like relationship is like a two-way street. Like she was making it sound like it was every Muslim's like part to reach out, and like other people have to reach out too. So I don't know, it's kind of interesting what she was saying.
Okay. Yeah, you and then.
I just thought it was interesting how the interviewer seemed sort of, like her question seemed a little bit like too pointed or like biased, and I felt like she went into the conversation like looking to get a certain answer out of them, and like not necessarily just like willing to hear exactly like whatever they wanted to say. I don't know, I felt like her questions were a little bit more like, I want to hear, like I'm going to say this to you, and I want to hear your reaction in a specific way, and not just like open to whatever they wanted to say.
Okay. I mean, personally, I thought it was great because it's, yeah, okay, maybe it seemed a little contentious, or maybe like it seemed a little biased, but in essence, those are the questions that everyone really has, and is sometimes, like, Americans are very nice in general, okay? Like, believe me, like in the Western part of the world, like we're considered the West, like if you go to Europe, you'll see like exactly what I'm talking about. Those of you who've been there, like know what I'm talking about. Like, for example, France and other parts of the world, like, and according to Gallup and both Pew, America is the most religious country in the West, right? Which says something about how we perceive the other, or how we perceive the concept of religion and value of religion. So, but I agree with you that it may have seemed a little bit more on one side. Did you want to say something? You want the mic? Okay, most people